Hello, my name is Dave McGuire. I'm the owner of Skills Plus Training Academy, and I do a lot of presentation training. And a lot of my students and clients have asked me when I'm doing an online presentation in a virtual meeting, how do I get that clean silhouette look with a transparent background where I can change the content or imagery behind me at my discretion? So I'm going to do a quick overview of that today to show you how I do that. I'm not going to provide you all the detail to make you an expert, just enough to show you how easy it is to do. And if you do decide to pursue it, there's lots of great YouTube videos out there or informative web pages for you to really learn in detail all of the steps. So what I mean by a silhouette with a transparent background is the office you see behind me, for example, is just a picture. It's not a real office. And in terms of my presentation here, you can see that it's a nice clean silhouette, no jagged edges, layered on top of my PowerPoint presentation. So the way this is going to work, and the official name, by the way, is green screen chroma keying. We're going to put a green screen behind me and just like they do in Hollywood and take it out. It's so easy to do with today's technology from your own home or office. You're going to need a computer, obviously. I highly recommend having a second monitor when you get these different applications opening to give you full control. You really need that second monitor. And even though I've used Windows PC devices in the example there, you can do this in a Windows PC or an Apple computer. You are going to need a green screen to go behind you. I'll show you at the end. These are quite inexpensive to get on Amazon. That kit, for example, costs less than $100. And you are going to need broadcast software or streaming software. We're going to use OBS today because it's free, it's powerful, it's very simple to use. I also use vMix, but I have to pay for that. Their free service isn't nearly as powerful as OBS. So this is really essentially what we're going to do. Here's your typical virtual meeting over here. And of course, you manage all your content in here, share your screen, share your PowerPoints, that sort of thing. And of course, you have a camera feed that's going into the meeting, whether it's from your webcam or an external camera. I'm using an external camera right now, so I can use two cameras later on in my presentation. What we're going to be doing is using the broadcast software as sort of an intermediary. So your camera is going to feed into OBS, and it's in OBS that you're going to manage all of your content, like sharing your screen and your PowerPoints and your camera. And there's going to be a virtual camera that's then going to feed into your virtual meeting. I'll show you later how we can select that camera in, say, the Teams environment. So let me take you now to OBS. So right now I'm sharing my second monitor. That's why you've got my camera infinitely shown all the way through the back. So this is OBS here. This is the broadcast software. Two important things to explain to you before we start to build anything. Number one, down here we've got scenes. So you're going to create different scenes for different purposes. For example, I have an office scene, so perhaps this is where I start the meeting. Then when I'm ready to present, I toggle to my presentation scene. This third scene is where I'm sharing my second monitor to do today's demonstration. So the next important thing to understand is sources. We're going to have different video inputs we're going to call sources. So for example, in this screen share scene, I have my video camera. I can turn it on or off. And I have a video input for my second monitor screen capture. Again, I can turn that on or off. I also have a microphone input. You won't need that for your virtual meetings. I've just added that to be able to record today's session. Okay, so before we add any sources, sources is by far the most important thing to understand. But we will add a scene. I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. Down here under scenes, there's an intuitive plus button. I'll call this a test scene. Now, when I hit OK, your screen is going to go to black. And that's because you're in a new scene now where I don't have any graphic or video inputs, no camera setup, anything like that. So I have to start to add those. So if you see now, I'm back and I'm sharing my second monitor, and you can see down here the test scene that we just created. We're going to add all of our sources in the screen share one so that you can follow what I'm doing. Okay, so let's start to add some sources, some video inputs. The first really important one, by far the most important, is going to be our camera with the green screen that we're going to strip away to have that transparent background. I'm going to hit the plus sign. You're going to see a variety of input options. There's a cool one here called game capture. So these gaming streamers or YouTube video people who do instructional game videos, they capture their games in here. We're going to add an image later for our office. We're going to use a window capture for our PowerPoint. Right now we're going to choose video capture device for our camera. We'll call this webcam. I'm going to hit OK. And now you're going to see camera options. I'm going to drag this over here so you can see everything. And I'm going to change the size of this. Well, I guess I can't change it. Can I change the size now? Yes, I can. So, and what I'll do is I'll turn off my other camera so this doesn't get too confusing. So this is the new camera I'm going to add, called integrated webcam. If I had other camera options, I could change them here. I'm going to hit OK. So now I have a new camera, and you can see the green screen behind me. And of course, I can resize and reposition this, as you'll see in a few minutes. But the key thing now is we want to get rid of that green screen behind me to give me that transparent silhouette look. To do that, I'm going to go here to something. Well, I got to make sure it's selected. There's a button here, an option called filters. I'm going to click filters. Again, I'm going to drag this over here so you can see everything I'm doing. And under effect filters, there's a plus sign. I'm going to click that. There's a filter called chroma key. This is to strip out the green. I'm going to leave the name as is. And then immediately you can see the filter has taken out the green. As long as I've got a nice solid green with no hot spots, let's say there's a ray of sun coming in and it's made part of my screen brighter than the rest. As long as I don't have any hot spots like that, I get a nice solid green. Those defaults are perfect. They've stripped away everything. So the only thing I'm going to do is change the smoothness around my image, and I'm going to hit close, and bang, just like that, we've got our camera capture with a transparent background. That's by far away the most important part of this mini little tutorial. I then have the option to drag it around and change the position. So I'll put it back in the corner here. I can also change the size if I want. So for this, for a while, we're going to leave that right there. Okay, so that's a big step. We've got our camera, silhouette, transparent background. Now let me show you how I built the home office scene. I'm going to go back to my screen share. This source I'm going to add is going to be an image. Drag this over here so you can see everything I'm doing. I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to want me to go find the image. I'm going to hit Browse. There's my image that I want to select. And I'm going to hit OK. Now you can see I've lost my camera. That's only because the image right now is the top layer. If I make my webcam the top layer, then I appear. So again, the image I can resize and reposition if I like. Drag that down. If I wanted to make my webcam image bigger, I could. And voila, that's how I created the home office scene. Okay, now let me show you how I created the PowerPoint scene. To do that, I'm going to have to hide the image of the office. So now let's add a source for the PowerPoint presentation. Again, I'm going to click Add Source. This time I'm going to do a window capture. Now I could add a new one. I'm going to stick with the existing one because PowerPoint, the advancements of the slides gets messed up if I add it twice. So I'm going to click OK. Now you can see that I've added a PowerPoint video input, basically a window capture. Same as before, I can change the size and reposition it. Again, I've lost my camera because it's the second layer right now. If I make my camera the top level, there. So bang, that's how I created the PowerPoint show, or PowerPoint scene, excuse me. So now I will show you, I need to hide that because I now want to show you how we select the virtual camera in Teams or Zoom. It's really no different. For the sake of this, I'm going to use Microsoft Teams. Okay, so there's my Teams meeting right now. I've just got a color bar because that's from a different camera that's turned off right now. So to select my camera, under Video Settings, here right now it shows vMix, and of course up here is my normal integrated camera, webcam or something. I'm going to select OBS Virtual Camera. Now right now you're just seeing the OBS icon. That's because I haven't turned on the virtual camera yet. I go back to OBS. Right here, I'm going to start the virtual camera. And there. Anything now in my OBS feed is going to show up in my Teams meeting. So for example, if I put the PowerPoint background back on, that's my feed into my virtual meeting. If I put my office image on, or my office scene, that's going to be my input into my Teams meeting. Okay, so that's how easy that is to do. So I'm just going to close that Teams meeting and finish my quick little presentation here. So I've shown you how to choose the camera. So to download OBS, it is free. You can go to obsproject.com. There's a screen grab of the website. There's a Windows version, a Mac OS version, or a Linux version. And here's some options off of Amazon. Again, a couple of screen grabs here. Here's the frame for $57. Here's a screen for $30. The screen I would recommend you get as large a size as possible. I would hate to see you buy, you can get a smaller screen, 5x7, let's say, for 15 or 20 bucks. But I would hate for you to find out later you wished you'd had a bigger one, because you never know where the position of your camera is going to be. You may also want a lighting kit. So here's an option. I'll have to move. You can get a green screen frame and the green screen with a lighting kit for 150 bucks. I didn't use a lighting kit for my first year of online teaching, and everything went fine. As long as I had a nice soft daylight coming in with no hot spots, it worked fine. I then purchased a lighting kit to do some inexpensive product photography for an e-commerce site, and I've since started using that to light my camera for things like this, and it's nice. But it's not necessary by any stretch. You can certainly get away with the green screen. As long as you've got a fairly universal light with no hot spots, that chroma key works perfectly. Okay, this is great for online meetings and presentations, great for live streaming, Twitch or Facebook Live. It's great to do a webinar if you record it for later use. As I mentioned, there's lots of instructional videos on YouTube, especially in the gaming industry for OBS. And it's also great for job interviews. More and more, especially if you're living in different cities, it's almost a given that since the pandemic and all this virtual meeting stuff took off, it's almost a given that your first interview might be online. So it's nice to have something like this to look as professional as possible. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little overview. Again, if you want to pursue it further, there's lots of YouTube videos to dive deeper in all those different video captures. And good luck. I hope this was useful.